Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, the motorcycles, the camper, the Grom, the monkey, the Kiefer dog. Hey, if you want an Ice Age TV sticker to share the love, Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. Yeah, share the channel. I think a lot of people would really enjoy my channel if they would know I existed, right? Wow, it's Friday morning, so good Friday morning to everybody out there. Good Friday morning, and cheers to the coffee drinking if you're drinking coffee to get the day going. And another yet very nice day, not as beautiful as the past week because we have overcast, but it's a nice day. It's not too hot, not too cold, but the humidity is back a little bit more today. Not much of a wind. And I always want to just say good morning to all the regulars out there that watch me on a regular basis and interact with my channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, and hope you're having a blessed day. Walk over to the Ice Age Caveman, Ice Age TV, Ice Age Compound, whatever you want to call it. Wow. What a week. It's hard to believe it's already Friday. Wow, that Ram truck, oh my gosh. You know, that Ram truck is badass, but I learned a hard lesson driving that truck last night. And I did some wicked, huge speeds, and I had to do a lot of braking because I was in the back roads, and I know these back roads as I've lived here for over 30 plus years, 34 plus years, 33, I guess you could say. And I'm just telling you, wow. That truck is not going to stop. And I always talk about this, that everybody wants these big badass trucks have all this power in them, but the problem is they don't stop. That thing was getting really bad on brake fatigue, and I even have video of the brakes in my eyes getting ready to catch on fire. Really bad. So when you drive these high performance trucks, especially like the Ram TRX, I don't know about the Raptor R, but I can tell you this, the brakes are not that great on that Ram truck, and very concerning if you're really going to be the daredevil doing the stunts in the back roads and thinking you're going to stop on a dime when you have to get, locked down. Ain't going to happen. But we'll talk about that more in a second. Here is the Grom. Wow, I am blown away, as Tango is going to take the view away from you on the morning conversations. I am blown away on how this is what I should have bought from the get-go. And what's even more amazing is this is less money than the Monkey. So to clarify here, if you really watch my channel, you know what I'm about the Honda Monkey. I love that little Honda Monkey. But now if you're buying the Grom, which I've heard for years and years, all of the people love these Honda Groms, I'm blown away how much different a ride is from these two machines. And I mean, it's radical. And this thing is so fun. Even the daughter's loving this damn thing. So we'll talk more about that here in a moment as we get in the shop and get the day going on the Ice Age TV comments. I should say conversation. And there's good old Don. Good morning there, Don. And Jenny. And the dog. I can't remember your dog's name, but sorry. So, and your daughter. Hope she's having a blessed day in, I believe, in Florida. So here we are, and getting the dogs up in the office so that the usual routine with Kiefer is he wants to harass somebody. So I think I'm going to hold him. Go on, pups. Nope. Kiefer's have to stay with us. You're better off down here with me. Yeah, so what has the week been about? Week was what? Monday advertising, and then Tuesday was influence, Wednesday was a date, Thursday was paranoia. The help desk gentleman reached out to me. He really loved that video. A lot of people, not a lot, but some people definitely liked the paranoia conversation. So how do we wrap the week up? Trying to keep the theme. So I put a video up on my channel to show you, if you didn't catch it, with me posting yesterday, this tire and wheel and the brakes. But anyways, how do we finish out the week? What word can I figure out to talk about? So the word I picked out for the Friday conversation is acceptance. And that, believe it or not, is a word that we have not talked about, is acceptance. And I thought, boy, if it doesn't just kind of roll with the conversation, I think it does. Because of where we are in today's society, more than ever, the influence of social media wanting you to accept the things the way they are, whether you like it or not. I mean, sincerely, we live in an age more than ever that I feel for the younger generation, because the influence being put on you to accept the things the way they are, just suck it up, buttercup, and you go, that means so before we get into all that kind of heavy conversation, let's talk about the Ram TRX, because Ram TRX has got a problem. It's got brake problems. And here we go. I just got back home from driving down the back roads over the mountain and having a lot of fun with this truck. And see, even Brian's like, I've never been in a truck this fast in my whole life. So here we go. If I can get it to go. Gonna go. Wow. Look at this here. I just ran this truck so hard. And these damn brakes. Look at them. This could be on fire. Probably should throw, I don't know, man. I just hit the back roads at tremendous speeds. And look at this. You're probably going to witness this truck. Look at this up here too. Up front. Look at that. Can you see that? Holy crap. Probably should drive the truck around a little bit just to cool it off. You know that? I should probably drive the truck around the neighborhood to cool that off. Woo! Look at that. I mean, that thing, did we just haul ass?
Yeah, I've never seen a truck quite
That's
do
me
that.
neither. That's what I'm saying. That was very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but now I'm debating, should I drive up the road? I don't know, it seems to be cooling off now. Yeah, it dissipated, but wow. Yeah. It's always an adventure. Here we are. We're going to go. Yeah, so now, wow, that was pretty, I'm going to get this thing here. It's so funny. See right here? See these titles right here? This is where I don't understand. I personally had named these videos. So this videos were called Timbrook Honda Adventures Grom Day. So this was called, I named this Timbrook Honda Adventures. But the Grom deal goes down, got put in place of that. I didn't do that. This was the Timbrook Honda Adventures Grom Day Part 2. And this was so what makes no sense here is I named each one of these videos a different name. But somebody, for some reason, is renaming them to something else. I don't understand this, man. It's just really befuddling. I'm looking, and you can see right now my YouTube channel. So that on the shorty video, 501 views. Gold Rush Town, that was a good one, 414. But then I came back in and did so that's a pretty good one. So I got 4,000 views on that Super AT windshield. I haven't even looked at this, just so you know. So the Paranoia Conversations, 151 views. So the morning conversations are just very, it's not a big deal. I'm just sharing with you. You can now kind of see where the shorty videos, they get typically a lot of hits. The long videos, people, which I get all that. I'm surprised that one didn't get a little bit more hits. Date Conversations, 145 views. So, anyways, back to the focus on this morning of the conversations here to try to keep you entertained to watch my channel and the accepting conversations. But here's the thing. Wow. On this Honda Monkey and this Grom, if anybody ever came to me and said, what would you buy? I'm going to say, if you're riding off-road, you can put these nice knobby tires. And I'm sure you could even get that style tire as well. You know they're the same size tires and wheels. I'm sure of that. Be my guess. I would highly recommend the Honda Grom. It is so much fun. And it's so much better a suspension. And it's wow. I just can't get over. To me, do I buy another Grom? Where it's because the kid loves this thing. So we 3-up in it, where Brian's learning how to ride around the property, and eventually he could go up on the road, on the street, and just stay here kind of local on the back roads here and ride around. All three of us could ride around a little pack. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It's very tempting to buy another Grom. I need another motorcycle. But here's the challenge. I've already been approved for another deal. Yeah, I've already been approved for another deal if I want to buy another dirt bike, and it's the Works Edition R 450. So right now, Honda is being very aggressive. So talking yesterday to Jack, he said that Honda and Honda Finance are doing every deal they can do. They're being they're really pushing their luck. They're doing deals. What Jack even said, or people he probably shouldn't have even gotten approved, but they're doing it. So what's that all about? So he said that they're very aggressive and they want deals. So that's very interesting. And for good old Timber Honda, they got a lot of 450s, which that's a lot of bike. Problem with it is, so right now, the 450 is an all-out motocross bike. It's all out built to be ready, race ready, kind of like the Fireblade. And for me, yeah, do I just want to accept that I'm not going to really be able to ride that bike? Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, sincerely, just like the Fireblade. You know, did I accept the day one I bought this and I know I'll never ride this thing to its capabilities? Can I ride it? Of course I can. Can I have fun on it? Of course. But can I ever really take it to the extremes of what it was built to do? No, I would kill myself. I'm not that foolish. You know, it isn't me having to prove to everybody, oh, look at me, I'm so Mr. Badass, and I can do whatever I want. And that isn't who I am. So now, challenge is, do I take the 2024 leftover, because now 2025 is right in the doorstep. But what's pretty cool, though, is you get a Honda tent, you get the Honda stand, you get the Honda mat, you get all these little goodies with the purchase of that bike, and they're taking like $2,500 off of it to move the deal. So if I want that, I could have it. But the challenge is it's a 38-inch high seat, and it doesn't have a kickstand, so you can launch yourself onto it. That's why you're kind of better off going just with the 450R that has a kickstand. So to get on the bike, you basically have to start kind of running along the next side of the bike and jump on the peg and then jump on the bike. Then you get off of it. So I don't know. I mean, but it's always me diddly daddling with something I think I may want. But is it like a collector's thing? And that's where, I wouldn't say it is. But Jack was kind of interested. He's like, for all the motorcycles you have, if you really could hold on to a select few that you really have, he said one day you could have your own little museum. And I was like, that's so true, because as I progress in life, and that's a challenge for all of us to get older in life, accepting the age of who you are. Who doesn't know these stories of people that are still acting like they're kids? Yeah, right. Am I talking about my own channel and me? Yes, because you get older, you just don't want to accept that you can't do the things you used to be able to do when you're younger. And that's without maybe possibly injuring yourself. And so for me, it was kind of cool that Jack brought that up. He's like, for you, if you could really hold on to a lot of these motorcycles, one day, as you get older, you could have an incredible, nice little museum of your own of such incredible motorcycles. Because that with where we're going in today's world of all this green agenda crap, it's not going to last. These ICE engines are going to be forced out to a degree. And I agree that it isn't going to happen tomorrow, but that 10 years from now, what does the Triumph Rocket R look like? The 3R. What does the Harley look like 10 years from now? I just can't see this is the type of style of motorcycles you're going to see. It's going to be all new generation, just a whole different flair. So, yeah, that would be really cool for me as an individual. I mean, the cars, and for one day, for anybody that looks back on my channel 20 years from now, if YouTube's even still around, if YouTube even saves all the videos that I have, you go back, you know as well as I do. If Julia ever had a boy or a girl, and you can go 20 years from now, and all of a sudden that person is 15 years old or whatever the age may be, and they look back at what I used to own and have, and this is 20 years from now, this is gonna be like, wow, just like 20 years ago, even though it sounds not too far or too long ago, but look at the different style of cars and the motorcycles of how we've evolved, and to see that there's a lot of things that you probably wish now you kept, including myself. That 2004 and 5 and 6 Dodge Viper SRT 10, I only wish I would have kept the black edition. I should have never let that go, but I did, because it was financial hardships and I really had no choice but to do that. So, oh my goodness, there's my daughter's earbuds sitting here out my car that she dropped yesterday riding around the monkey, or I should say the Grom, and Brian on the monkey, and they're sitting on my car hood. Nice, right? And as now Brian and my daughter are working out of the Lightning truck, which I like that a lot. He actually likes that. It's kind of freaky to him and how it has the one pedal driving but so the acceptance. What's the most important thing I think in our life is we really do feel deep down that you want to be accepted, that you want to be somebody that's looked at, that people respect, and for you as an individual, there's all types of ways you can say acceptance. But I think what's really interesting for most of us is most of us have to go borrow money to buy a car. So you have to go fill out a credit application, and it's always interesting to see that your credit application has been accepted. So who hasn't gone through that process? And then now, yesterday at the Honda dealership, I was telling them, I don't think Honda's going to buy another deal because I have so many Hondas with Honda Financial. I'm just like, they're going to demand. This motorcycle payment is like going out to dinner with my wife and kid once a month. That's like $100 a month payment. It's chump change. It's nothing. Now, of course, when you start getting the more expensive motorcycles, yeah. But the point is, I didn't think they would accept another loan. So I was telling the good old judge, Bill, that's usually there, he hasn't been in most of the week, so it's been other people getting deals done. And so I was telling them, I don't think that Honda Financial is going to accept another loan. I don't see it. I think they're going to demand this has happened. In all the years I've been buying Honda motorcycles from American Honda Finance, they've demanded I give something up. And which I was like, I just don't really know if I want to give anything up. I've got a CB650R sitting in that trailer over there. And I really have felt that's probably a keeper of a bike. But now they've brought the brand new CB650R back stateside, and you now can get one for 2025. I think that's the model year. And it's got the new E-Shift, which I'm not real clear on that yet. I think I know what it is. But the whole point is, I kind of felt that CB650R was kind of a vehicle that would be sought after because they quit making it stateside availability. So, but now I'm having to accept that probably that's just a lot of money going to something that'll never get ridden and trade it out for something else, which that's possible. So for us, you go and you apply for the loan, like I just told you. Yesterday at Timber Honda, we decided, I said, you know what? Just run the deal, see what happens. Let me think about it. I don't know. Got mixed feelings. The gut feeling is don't do it. Gut feeling is if I'm going to get another fun thing, get one of these. Another party's like, nah, don't worry about it. So, but they accepted the application and they accepted another loan in my name for yet another toy under American Honda Finance. Yeah, and I know people watching my channel are like, yeah, I just wouldn't do it. But it is the Works Race Edition 450. That is a badass bike. It really is. Oh, I ordered the Yoshimura exhaust for this. This has a little bit more of a growl of exhaust, and it's interesting if you look on how that exhaust is routed down on the bottom versus this is a more curved up. So this has like a different note, whole different note. If you look at the difference in these motorcycles, mini bikes, what you want to call them, it's dual rear shock versus a single rear shock. Look at the swing arm on the back of it. It's more like an aluminum versus this is a steel. But if you look at it, it's very similar in some ways, but not totally. So it really is a different type of rear suspension setup. The front, they're both inverted shocks. I don't know if the gold is more something else. They both have ABS. Definitely different instrumentation. Definitely looks the different. The handlebars, I think, are the same. So I think there's a lot of interchangeable parts going on here, with the exception of like the body, the gas tank, the fenders. But it's so similar. I got to remember to ask them where my brand new tires are, because if you ever want to ride this really on the roads, I need my brand new road tires. And I'm so glad that I can't emphasize enough to anybody out there that really wants to buy these off-road motorcycles, dirt bikes, mini bikes. If you're really going to be doing a lot of grass riding and off-roading, you got to go to this style tire. That's the only downside to this Afro Twin, which I never ride. I mean, I'm sure I'm like, yeah, because it's the rear tires. It's the tires that I don't have the confidence on. That rear tire, that sucks. So for me, I really should just change out the tires on this bike so I really can blast around the property. And a lot of people would say, well, there's your dirt bike. Well, no, you're talking about a 250-pound motocross bike versus like a 500, 600-pound adventure bike. That's a huge difference in throwing around your weight and doing some really good times in the dirt. And so it's just, you can't compare the two. But what's interesting is Jack up there. I talked about it before, but Jack up there, he really took my conversation here a while back about talking about how staying in the dirt, still riding dirt bikes is such a good thing for you. In yesterday's video, when I was at the Honda dealership, he even talked about that in one of the videos on how he's so excited. He's back riding dirt bikes, and he was a motocross rider, and he's been away from it for 20 years. So he's been away from riding dirt. He's been riding street. He has a street motorcycle. He rides back and forth to work on a regular basis. But he totally got away from dirt. And now he's like, he can't believe he took that long. And it was really my conversation talking to him about how on the dirt aspect of it, it really forces you to just even be that much more aggressive. And it just helps you in so many ways as you progress to hopefully keep your skills as you get older. I mean, and that's the challenge for all of us as we progress. Your body does change, your mind, your vision, your balance, so many things, and that's the hard part that people don't accept. I mean, look at all the movie stars look at all the movie people, the Hollywood, the well-known individuals in the world, sports, just wherever people have all the money. What do? They can't accept that they're aging. So what they do is they have the facial surgery, they're dyeing their hair. I mean, we all know they're taking all these different pills. They're trying to find the latest, greatest stuff to live forever. Yeah, it's because they don't want to accept that they're not that 30-year-old or 20-year-old actor or sports person they were at one time, and they don't have that capability anymore. And so instead, they have the money to try to make themselves still look like they're 30 years old when they're 70. Who hasn't seen that? You go to the Fox News and you see all these people at work there, and my mom used to always talk about is, wow, these people have totally transformed themselves in how they look. Look at Kellyanne Conway. Oh my gosh. She is a classic of how her husband, is it George Conway? George Conway to me sounds like some famous former comedian or actor, but George Conway just rags on Donald Trump. He hates Donald Trump. It's incredible how Kellyanne Conway was like Donald Trump's right-hand lady during his presidency, and her husband just hated and despised Donald Trump like you couldn't believe. Can you imagine? I mean, they're divorced now. Can you even imagine? And that's a challenge in relationships, like accepting that you've married somebody that they're not who you thought they were. Who doesn't have that challenge? And then accepting that if you're going to go through a divorce, that you're probably going to have to lose half of everything you have. I can guarantee you there's many people on my channel that know the stories of so many people are still married in relationships because they don't want to accept that they have to give up half their fortune to get rid of the person they don't love anymore or want to be with. Yeah, it goes on all the time. It's the biggest running joke of especially the older guy that has a younger woman, or maybe the older woman has a younger guy. That goes on all the time. So for you, who has the challenge? What's one of the biggest challenges of you accepting you made a mistake? And that's huge. And on my channel, I've already voiced many times that the Kirby truck was a mistake. I accept that I made a mistake. I should have kept the other truck. And even people out there even told me, it's like, man, you shouldn't have gotten rid of that Tremor Carly package truck. And I don't disagree. So I have to accept that that truck there was a mistake. It's just a big ass truck. And it's just, so I missed my Tremor used truck that had like 40 some odd thousand miles on it, had massaging seats. I don't miss the seat though. That front driver's seat was so uncomfortable. Whoever owned that truck had major back problems, and they redid something to that seat where it made your back bulge out all the time. So once again, who here can relate with the mistakes you make in your life and have to accept it and move on? And a lot of people can't. A lot of people just won't let it go. And that's a huge challenge in our life, is you didn't do something right. And you just have to come to terms that okay, I screwed up. It's okay. I've got to move on. I got to try to be better. I got to just move on. But that's very, very challenging, extremely challenging. And especially when you go buy like a car. Who doesn't know the buyer's remorse? I guarantee you the buyer's remorse is at an all-time high, more than ever in this country, because of all the repossessions that all these companies claim that are going on, all these the YouTubers and the car dealerships, and how many people have buyer's remorse and have to accept that they agreed to terms on a car that they bought that's really out of their affordability. And then you have to accept the consequences. Because when they come and get your car, for those that never have had it happen, and ask me how I know. I've had it happen in my lifetime quite a few times, believe it or not. Could it happen again? It possibly could. I mean, it really could. I mean, this is a lot of money. This is a lot of debt. And without me really busting my ass and have a glimmer of hope and pray for a miracle that my business continue to make the monies I need to pay for stuff, you will see some of this stuff go away. I mean, that is very possible that you will see that on my channel. It's very possible. And what do I let go and what do I keep? Yeah, right. But the point is accepting that you failed. So for me, that will be me kind of pretty much accepting that I made mistakes and I have failed in many ways of trying to manage my monies and thinking I'm going to be bigger and better and I'm going to make more money, when in the end I didn't. And especially on my YouTube channel, which is beyond believable for the amount of money I don't make on this channel, for all the time and effort that I give back to others is beyond believable. You've heard it a gazillion times. So here's the thing. When you find out that you get the eviction notice, which is not an eviction notice, but the acceptance notice that you're behind X amount of payments, in the state of Virginia, believe it or not, if you're 10 days late on your car payment, in the state of Virginia, the company that holds the note on that car, they do have the right to repossess it. Now, typically, most repossessions are after 2 missed payments. Typically, once it hits the 3rd missed payment is when the bank is going to come get your car. Now, these repo guys are very busy, from what I understand. So just so you know, if you're in dire straits right now, I guarantee you somebody out there could probably share a story that they stopped making their car payment and they still have it 6 months later. I can guarantee you those conversations are out there. Because if you want to be devious and hide your car and make it not accessible for the person to get on your property, then they're going to have a very tough time getting the car. Here's a funny story. I was talking to my good friend Pete down there at Dulles Motorcycles. That's a service writer, manager, oversees the dealership service end. I was talking to him about, have you seen much of a change in what's going on with people spending money? And he said, yeah, the dealership has definitely had more challenging times of trying to sell motorcycles. It's kind of like they're up, they're down. Service end has pretty much kind of held its own. But he said what he's noticed here lately is he's had a few phone calls here, not many, but he said the finance company has called, like BMW Finance, has called inquiring about a person's motorcycle. And they're wanting to know if it's at his dealership. And the reason they want to know is because they want to repo it and they can't find it. I thought that was classic. And he said, I haven't had one of those phone calls ever. He's like, so this was really weird because the BMW financial company was calling him a few times and finally said, hey, can I just inquire why you're calling about this guy's bike? And then the person's like, well, okay, it's because he's behind on his payments and we need to come get it. And if it's at your dealership, we need you to lock it down so we can come get it. Wow. Okay, so it'd be interesting to hear if there's car dealerships and other businesses that are getting notices. So this is what happens, because I was in a lawn and garden equipment dealership, even though I went broke in that industry. But I had a personal friend of mine that was going to be an original investor of that business, and we would be partners. And it never played out. And I walked away because I had such bad feelings that relationship would go sour. And I also had feelings he didn't have the money he said he really had. But great guy, older guy. In some ways, he took me down the wrong path because I always wanted to open just a trailer dealership. I always wanted to own a trailer dealership is selling enclosed trailers, dump trailers, utility trailers, maybe some horse trailers, car haulers. I wanted to own a business just down the street here where I know I could set up shop, and it would be very low overhead, and I'd have trailers sitting out near the road, and it would be just a really cool gig. back in 2005, 6, 7. That's what I wanted to do. So for me, I was on the page of transferring out of the business I was in and evolving into the trailer dealership. Well, a good friend of mine, that's a realtor, older gentleman, actually he's sold cars and he's done a lot of different things. When I went and talked to him to find a piece of land for me to sell trailers, he instantly was like, whoa, hey, I want to do that, but I also want to be like a lawn and garden equipment dealership, and I know of a guy that I think we could buy out and we could set up shop, and I got a piece of land up the road that we could make into a nice facility, blah, blah, blah. Well, he and I talked for close to 2 years, and eventually I got to the point that I accepted that this guy just isn't going to go anywhere because he wants to take a piece of raw land and build a major building, and the amount of money, then the road infrastructure, the state, the county was going to require us to redesign the road. It's going to be $1.5 million, $2 million easy for a shell and property and barely anything there. So I was like, nah, I came to accept that that isn't meant to be. So for he and I just then started working behind the scenes of creating my own business model, which I did. I wrote a whole business plan. I went to bankers and I talked to see if I could borrow money to go out and buy this guy out and start a lawn and garden equipment trailer dealership, which I accomplished. But unfortunately, I should have stayed on the page of just making it a trailer dealership, because I wouldn't have had to buy anybody out, number one. I wouldn't have had the overhead, number two, and I could have just kind of feathered along, and it wouldn't have put me in dire straits when the economy went south. So that was a very hard lesson in my life, that I'd accept that it was a major failure, but it was all the timing of the country and everything else associated with that. And once again, it's the acceptance of you making a mistake. So back to the car repossessions, and the reason I was talking about that is, so the guy that I was going to partner up with, he bought a Coyote tractor. So Coyote was a competitor, Kubota, same color shirt that I have on, orange. And believe it or not, the Coyote and the Kubota are brothers that started way back, like in the 40s and 50s, that are over there in South Korea and Japan. And so the gentleman that I was going to partner up with, he bought a nice Coyote tractor from me. Well, after that business went sour and the whole economy crashed back in 2008 and 9, to this day, I remember getting all the mail that was forwarded from that business to my residence. I got a notice in the mail that his tractor is being repossessed. And I was like, wow, here's a guy that supposedly owned basically a piece of land. Back then, it was probably worth about $300,000 to $500,000, maybe $1 million, debatable because it's commercial grade. And here's a guy that I was like, wow, I was taken back that, and this is a tractor that would have been like a $300 monthly tractor payment. And, part of me is like, did he just not need it anymore? And he just like screw it and let it go because he couldn't sell it back in that 2009, 10 time frame where everything was just in dire straits. I don't know. But back to the repossessions. So the way the ball game plays is you get the notice that your car is going to be taken away, and eventually the repo guy tries to get a hold of you, or they just show up out of the blue, and they get devious. They may show up at 2 in the morning. Yeah, have I had this happen here? Sure have. I've had my wife wake me up. There's some guy in a tow truck out in front of the property right now trying to get in our property right now. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. You can't get in, and he'll just go bye-bye. So they come and get your car, and I've witnessed it right here in front of me where the rollback guy comes in, takes it away, you say bye-bye as it goes up the road. And then it'll take probably 60 to 90 days for you to get a letter eventually from the creditor that they have auctioned your car off and that the car was sold for X amount of dollars. And then there was the repo fees, there was the auction fees, there's now the late payment fees, blah, 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 blah. And let's just say you owe 60 on it and they got 40 for it. And probably between all the fees, they're going to be chasing for $22,000 to $25,000. They're going to now say, okay, you need to pay us 25 grand. Well, it's obvious I can't pay that because that's why the car is gone. So how do we work this out? Well, you give them the middle finger and okay, great. Now on your credit report, it shows up repossession on your credit report. And now your credit's dinged. And the future of you going out and buying a new car, used car, whatever it may be, is very challenging because you now have to accept that you've been marked as a lousy creditor, a lousy person to lend money to that where it's all going to go sour. How do I know all this? Yeah, ask me how I know. Because I've been through it. And then the typical answer is, well, that'll be on your credit report for 7 to 8 years. And yeah. So, and that seems to be going on a lot. But once again, on my channel, for me personally, I don't know of anybody personally at this time that's had their car repossessed, besides maybe me. Yeah, but some days it'd be interesting if that ever played out. It'd be interesting if we'd figure out what disappeared. I mean, it would kind of be challenging because the way I walk around my property, and so if a vehicle here or there kind of disappeared, because some are hidden back here, it would be, if I didn't walk a certain way, you would not know that, hey, you have to accept Iceman, the guy screwed up. And yeah, and by the same person, does my channel have the same viewership? Do people look at me the same? And that's what happens, is it turns into your faults and your bad decisions. Then other people then think, I'm just not so sure I really want to be part of that because I'm not so sure that person is what they want. Here it is. Finally got the windshield in this Honda Talon figured out. Love it. It's a huge difference. That is so nice. And I was telling people here when I did this windshield, you can get the full glass windshield from Honda. It's expensive, it's heavy, but you can't do what I'm doing right here with it at any great speeds. I don't even know if I don't think the Honda windshield is actually like this Gator. So this Gator has this windshield on it and it goes all the way up. Now, I feel very confident in this thing, 10, 15, maybe 20 miles an hour, but that's about it. Because it starts shaking a lot. And the thing is, on that Talon, you hit 30, 40 miles an hour instantly. So there's no way you could do that and feel confident of that you're not braking. And then you got to accept that you screwed up. All right, so it's a lot of conversation, a lot of acceptance. Well, so what it always comes down to is the state of times. And I think a lot of people are on the same page as everybody else that watches my channel, that it's hard to accept that a lady named Kamala Harris has been propped up to be the next president of this country. I truly believe that most people on my channel are just having a very hard time accepting that a woman of incompetence has been propped up to be the next Muppet for Barack Obama. And I think a lot of people, it's aggravating because I think many people don't want to accept the fact that where this country's gone has been from the city administration that Kamala Harris is all part of. And I think many people are disappointed. Some people aren't. And once again, I know there's some people on my channel that get very disappointed in me talking about them having to accept my political views, which I think has probably chased off people, may have chased off viewership. It's possible. But for me, I just can't accept that you have to be quiet when you have idiots that sit in the office and they can get away with whatever they want and nobody's going to talk about it. I just can't accept that. I'm at an age in life where it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable that you can send your kid off to school and a teacher can brainwash them to be whatever they want to be. It's not acceptable that we have governing bodies and district attorneys that want to raise all the crimes to ridiculous levels where criminals can do whatever they want and you suffer the consequences. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable that the continued get rid of the police to make these cities lawless is acceptable. It's not acceptable in my views that we have the most expensive housing in modern times ever. Now it's the $1 Million Club is now 1 in 10. This is a fact. 1 in 10 houses now is worth $1 million. So it's not acceptable in my eyes that the younger generation is going to have even a much more challenging time ever than my generation to be able to have food, shelter, roof overhead that would be more in line to help them get going in life instead of all the inflation that's all radiates back to the green agendas, ideologies that force everything to be more expensive. People just don't connect the dots. The average person's clueless and how this green agenda has created so many things that are creating inflation. And once again, it's not acceptable. But this is the ball game. The social media and the main media want to just tell you, just suck it up, buttercup, and accept it the way it is. And it is what it is. Now, here's something very interesting. Ukraine-Russia war. Ukraine is now raising their hand, and they're saying, this is very disturbing. I talk about on my channel, I fear for the younger generation. I think they're going to war. I think that my daughter may get a draft notice, which I'll be so heartbroken if that happened to me in my life. I'll be heartbroken if my daughter has to go fight a war for what? For what? Ukraine, they're saying now it's 1 in 5. What does 1 in 5 mean? There's 5 Russian soldiers for every Ukrainian. Where's the Ukrainian? You know the stories of all Ukrainians running away out of their country to get out of the war. And so what's that mean? That means Ukrainians don't have a big enough military to fight the Russians. So who's going to sign up to go help them fight? Is our country going to mandate drafting again that requires now the likes of my daughter going to Ukraine to fight against Russia? This stuff with this administration, this is real stuff. And sadly, the younger generation is clueless that this is stuff that can play out faster than a heartbeat than you realize. Because we're in an all-out war with Ukraine and Russia. But nobody really wants to accept it and talk about it. Apparently, Mr. Kennedy, was it John Kennedy or Jack, whatever his name is, out of Louisiana, I think, that was talking to Austin, what's his name? The Secretary of Defense of the military. I guess he had him on, was grilling him, and he just, is it Austin Powers or something? I can't remember. It's something Austin, I think. The guy's a mystery. The guy goes to the hospital. They won't even tell you why he's in the hospital. The guy appears, reappears. But apparently, Kennedy was drilling the hell out of him for questions and answers. He wouldn't respond. And Kennedy was losing it. I didn't see any of the video. I just saw a highlight of that. So the point is, what's going on? What's going on, right? So people don't want to accept that this city administration isn't transparent. They're not going to share with you. They're not going to tell you. People just don't get it. And so sadly for me, it's unacceptable of this city administration to where we are in this country for all the things that I talk about all the time. It's not acceptable. And if you accept it, you're a fool. And if that just turned you off my channel, then whatever. If you think that this city administration is putting this country in a better position to move forward, you're a fool. You're a fool. You're only going to support the continued demise of our country. And it isn't going to happen right in front of your eyes, just right this second. It just takes time. And sadly, it's happening. So I'm going to leave it at that because it can get really heavy and deep. And I get it. And if you're a Democratic person, I don't think you probably watch my channel. I mean, you probably turn me off because your position is you're just a Donald Trump guy. No. Hey, I'd love to see a Democratic person that was a real Democrat person that had more Democratic good old days views. I mean, can we get that? Can you get that? No, you can't. You won't. Because your party's gone way too radical. The George Soros of the world and the big guys that want to manipulate everything, they're in charge. Your party's not in charge anymore. Barack Obama's in charge. Yes, very sad. So, sorry, but you guys can do better. Why do you accept the demise of your own party? Why do you accept that? So, I think it's pretty bad. All right, that's it, everybody. Hope everybody has a blessed day. And you see the 450 show up? I don't know. I mean, I just love to buy toys. That's who I am. Can I accept that? I can. Can others? Not really. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching my channel. It's long, it's lengthy. Hope everybody has a beautiful Friday, and God bless, and have a great day, and stay tuned for some more Ice Age adventure.